Interesting. Okay, I have no idea why in the world it did that. Morning. All right. This was supposed to be scheduled for 11. I have no idea why it just started. Have you guys, okay. Interesting. Um, there we go. All right. Good morning, Vince, 3D print junkie. How we do it, Captain? How's it going? I guess I ought to exit out of the Discord call that I was in. All right. Yeah, this was supposed to be at 11. I don't know. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah. Anyway, so got back yesterday from Rocky Mountain. It was a very fun trip. Very fun trip. Jose, how's it going? It was good seeing you, man. Always is good to see you. Even if you let Django have my monolith kit. I guess it's probably a good idea to make sure Django can make sure his panels work with the monolith kit. So there is that, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway. We'll start off with Lo Sing. What's up? Start off talking about the trip out to Rocky Mountain because it was fun. So I flew out Friday evening. Left. Flight took off, I think, at like 6:50 Eastern Standard Time. And there's a bunch of storms. Reth, how's it going? It was good seeing you too, man. It was so much fun hanging out with everybody Saturday night, and hanging out with you and everybody. That was a huge highlight of the trip. But we're going to get to that. So there's a bunch of storms. So the flight was originally supposed to be a little over 3 hours. It ended up being about an hour longer because they were diverting, trying to get around storms. There were storms coming through the Midwest up here, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. We diverted around that, and then we were trying to divert south of some storms that were coming through the Panhandle of Texas and into Oklahoma. But the storms were moving too fast. We weren't able to get south of them. So we ended up flying straight through it. And we were down, should have been flying up at like 35,000 feet, and we were down at like 28, 27, something like that. So we ended up flying literally straight through the storm. Normally in that situation, you try to get above it. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter, but we flew through it. And the turbulence was something else going through that storm. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen videos. David, how's it going, man? It was good hanging out with you. David 3D printing. David Prusa now. Was there. We got to hang out with him some. We're going to get to some goodies that I've got over here that David gave me as I was walking out the door. But if any of you have ever seen the videos where they're in the planes, they train the astronauts or whatever for like weightlessness, like they just kind of go like this, so you're weightless as it comes down. Well, all of a sudden, I got to recreate that because the plane just drops. Everybody on that plane is screaming. Oh Lord. I thought I was going to die. Literally. Like I thought that was it. The sounds and the that was terrifying. We had like an hour of turbulence because of the storms up here when we took off. But nothing like that. Yeah. And then so get there, Cat picks me up from the airport. Got to hang out with Captain and his son all weekend. He was kind enough to allow me to stay with him at his hotel. So thank you very much, Cap. Appreciate it. I appreciate everybody. Donations from everybody in the community is what allowed me to go. So thank you for that. JPP. Got to see JPP there as well. Got to see Rest's input shaping nozzle. I'm sure he can tell me the exact name of it because it's a mashup with his name. But that thing is sick. I cannot wait to get one of those. Got to do some really cool interviews. There's an interview with Hector up on the YouTubes now, and an interview with Steve looking at the new Voron Trident R2, which is pretty awesome. Lots of quality of life stuff there. Lots of stuff that is going to make other things easier to implement. But start off with what do we got? We left with this isn't the right one, or this is. Let's switch this around, because this is supposed to be. This is a big screen. No, this is the wrong one too. Let's move that over here. What is going on? Oh, I need to reboot this. Properties. There we go. It's rebooted now. It's like, that's not even from like current time. All right, so we got, move this back over here. We got a lovely bag. They ran out of these. That's how many people were there. They ran out. I guess official numbers for Saturday was like 3,800 people. Reticence nozzle, that's it. John, thank you. We got some other stuff to put out there as well. I got an interview with Luke from Luke's Lab talking about his new printer that he's got. That'll be coming out probably tomorrow. So the badge, very wide badge compared to, normally they're about half this width and a little longer. This one's really wide. Different, they had some different lanyards. The gray one was kind of like the general audience one. And then over there's my blue one, which was like being part of the event. Got that for being content creation, media, whatever they want to call it. I picked up, I should have got some M5s of these, but can't remember what we were doing, what we were working on, that I said I needed smaller heat sets, and then I couldn't remember whether I needed M2s or M2.5s. So from KB3D, I just picked up some smaller heat sets, M2s, M2.5s. I can't remember what I needed them for. I just remembered that I needed them. Yeah, got to meet CD Racer as well as his wife. Jason handed me this on Saturday. It's like a AirTag, but it's got the LDO logo on it, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to throw that. I don't know whether I should put it on my keys or like in my backpack or something. That way if my backpack ever walks off, we'll start off with going through some of this stuff. So I knew I had limited space, so I didn't grab. If I already had one of their maker chips from another event, I did not grab another one unless it was different than their previous ones. That's how I handled maker chips. We'll run through the maker chips that I managed to walk away with. Just as soon as I dig them all out. Oh, I did get this. It was a challenge coin that they gave, I'm assuming, anybody with a blue lanyard. So that's pretty cool. My first ever challenge coin. All right, I think that is all of the maker chips. So we've got Protopasta. They had some really cool filament quantum dots, supposed to like glow for hours. So I would really like to get one of those, spool of that, but it was $40 for half a kilogram, and not having any budget for stuff. David, I can design one up for you if you want. I'm not the greatest at designing them, but I don't do too terrible. Just get me your logo and stuff like that. And then there was a gentleman walking around on Sunday with this particular Rocky Mountain coin. It's pretty cool. And then got the Plimy Cat. I've got an interview with Dave that I'm going to put up later. You guys will get a kick out of that. 3D Print Rescue. Yeah, do you have an XL now, David? A high five? Yeah. Sunlu was there. They had a really cool dryer. That's Looked like it could probably fit 10 regular spools, and like top and bottom. Or if you take the rack out, you looks like you'll be able to fit up to a 5 kilogram spool of filament in that dryer. K2 Kevin, he was awesome. Got to hang out with him Sunday night. Luke's Lab. Like I said, got a video coming out with him. Got to hang out with Clown Hammer a bit. Got one of his new chips. Can't remember whose chip this is. Is this I can't remember. Who is that? Let's get the camera out. Scan the QR code. Maybe. Focal point engraving. Pathetic Puma. Got to chat with him a bit. He had some really cool V0s sitting on his table that he had done. Then we got Bearded Printer. You do have an XL now. So how fun are those kits to put together? And then a floppy bearded printer maker chip. Love hanging out and talking with Beardy. And of course his neat chip. Yeah, he is an awesome dude. Bearded printer, also awesome dude. Mandela Rose work. So it's buried under stuff. We're gonna look at something from him. I'm not sure who this is. Does anybody know who this is? There's no QR code. It's just a British flag. This seems like it would be what's his name? Man, Sam Prentice. Seems like it would be something Sam Prentice would do, but I don't know. And then Cakes Makes. The Maple Leafs. Clown Hammer is this your wife's chip? And then Rocky Mountain chip. Okay, so that is her. Yeah, try to remember sometimes. And then I got this guy, Captain Kern's chip. Turned out pretty good. Karen shoot. There is a 3D printed little ducky that snaps in there. That's pretty cute. And then Hot Makes, my buddy Gerari. Then we've got Bondtech with their index. I never made it over to the maker stage. I didn't realize where the door was until it was time to leave. On then Whistle. Can't remember who this is either. Yeah, like I said, I only picked up ones that then I can't remember who this is. 3D Pry? I don't know. I ended up with 2 of the Rocky Mountain ones. We're on design chip. Grid Reaper from Mr. Zach Freeman, who is absolutely hilarious. I love this guy. And then Pezlis, and that's the extent of our maker chips. We got a little mountain thing. This is from Karen as well. We got a honey badger keychain, which the wife's gonna end up with on her key ring. Then we get into stickers, which I like stickers even more than whatchamacallit. I like stickers more than maker chips. So yeah. So we get there Saturday, and it is packed. We waited in line outside, and it's just, we could have cut around and gone through, but I enjoy hanging out and talking to people in the line. The atmosphere leading up to any event, hanging out, you know, in line outside, tailgating, whatever it is, when everybody's super excited and super stoked for an event, is so much fun. I love that atmosphere, right? There's going to be a show in Texas. That would be a lot of fun to go to. I've always wanted to go to Texas. I wanted to move there. Almost did. Take a Polaroid and make people write names. Rest mug shots. Love it. Um, yeah, the I got this honey badger shirts. Yeah. Well, Cap, I was going to leave that part out, but since you mentioned it, yeah. The road rage can be real with Cap, and people really like cutting him off. I don't know if there is a challenge coin given out in Ohio. I mean, in Colorado for cutting off Cap, but it definitely seems like there might be, because people are definitely motivated to do so. Time to get back to work. Work? No. You must hang out. Listen, man, you're marketing manager. You got to be over here, you know, doing marketing research with content creators, man. this is definitely work. So at the show Saturday, and it is packed. Boy, is it packed. You like trying to get around. It took probably 2 hours before I managed to make it over to the Voron booth because I just walked in and I'm like, nope, not doing that. Right? So I ended up walking to the other side. I'm like, most of the people that are filtering in are going to be in the first hall to begin with. So I'm going to go over to the second hall where it's less packed at the start, circle that, and then come back when the crowd's got a chance to like spread out through the entire event. Totally missed the Death Racers the first day. Missed the Dragsters the first day. Well, I got out there and they were doing the Death Racers. But like it was just, they were huddled up, right? I was not going to fight my way through there. I know that being the tall guy I am, I could have probably stood in the back and saw. But I ended up talking to Joel Telling and producer David for quite a while out there during the Death Racer event. Had really good conversation with them. Hopefully they'll be coming on the podcast soon to discuss stuff. And then, didn't really do. Oh, no, I did do the interview with Hector the first day. Talked to Django about the new panels and stuff like that. Talked to Django quite a bit about the Trident here. I've got a pretty good grip on what the issues are with this right now. It prints, but it's got some input shaping stuff. Rest's going to be coming on later this week, I do believe, and we're going to talk about and work through like what you do, right? We're not going to be able to necessarily solve the issues that I got going on with this because it's some hardware issues versus whatnot, but it'll show you, like, to be able to diagnose that. It'll be a good example of like, okay, I see this, there's something wrong, right? So stay tuned for that. I gotta get with Reth actually later on today and figure out what time works best for him. So, and then after the show, we head back. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Chatting with Reth, the depth of his knowledge seems to have no bottom, right? Then Saturday night, DLL PDF, how's it going? Got to saw DLL PDF's booth. Gear Nut was over there. I tried to say hi, but he was in the middle of selling Chris, KB3D Chris, the bed that I need for my Trident. No, I think it was a 2.4 bed. So stickers. Again, with the stickers, I tried to grab ones that I didn't have and leave the ones I did. Stickers go fast, but I ended up with an E3D one. Two-step process finally understand it. Step 1, get. Step 2, good. Yeah, I need to get one for maybe one for the 2.4, but more importantly, I need one for the Micron. And then the only UGA, no Dugga sticker, which I don't know why, but that one just tickled my brain in just the right way. So I grabbed 2 of those. Yeah, you gotta have stickers. That Rocky Mountain sticker, I put these on the toolbox. Hyperdrive Designs sticker, great guys. They're up out of Michigan. And then Scambrosia filament. I died when I saw it. The Rocky Mountain West 3D sticker. Yeah, Gear Nut, we've had a ticket open since 3D Printopia, so I already had the pickle stickers. Like I said, I didn't take stickers from booths that I already had them from. All right, so I've already got DLL PDF pickle sticker on the toolbox. So I did not grab one of those. You guys' booth was jumping on Saturday. I didn't get to come see you guys' booth till late on Sunday because of it. And then reminder for Clee Day, it is coming up. There might be sales over at DLL PDF for Clee Day. Who knows? Got to keep those guys busy. Chamois sticker for XR Bunker. 3D Printing Nerd. This is a new sticker for him. I hadn't seen this one before. This is sick. Voron, stand back. I built this shit myself sticker. Another chamois sticker. They had a holographic version of this as well, but they only had one left by the time I found it, and I was like, this is a really cool one, but I'm not going to take the last one. Is it safe to update Clipper sticker? Alpha nozzle sticker. Available at Fabrico. Voron Soon sticker. For those that don't know or missed it, if you're interested in building Voron Cascade, that project has been officially released into the wild. I do not believe there is a kit for it yet. We can harass Jose about it. Regular Voron sticker. But yeah, there is a... you can self-source it at least. All the files are up, published. Yeah, the GitHub's up for it. Sorry, I had to get something in me. I forgot to eat breakfast this morning. Trident R2, actual soon, not Boron soon. Steve handed this to me. That was fun. I walk up to the Voron table, and I'm looking, and Doc's there. Doc starts talking to me, and Steve comes from around the back of the table, hands me a sticker, gives me a hug, and starts telling me about the Trident R2. It took Doc back a bit, but it was fun. I love Steve, man. He's been a fantastic friend. Gergman, I do not think it's going to be long for the R2 stuff. RS Makes, it was good to meet you as well, sir. Yeah, got to hang out with well, we'll get to Sunday here in a minute. We're gonna finish going through these stickers, then finish out Saturday and get into Sunday. Another Rocky Mountain sticker. Some nanopolymer adhesive. I'm just gonna slide this into the bed prep drawer right now. There we go, bed prep drawer. Honey Badger Speedy sticker. I don't know why this one just, I loved it. Is Dustin Speed still around? I haven't talked to him in a while. Granted, I don't hang out on the Voron Discord a whole lot anymore with the amount of, you know, between streaming and hang out in my Discord and stuff like that. I haven't got much time to hang out over there. Some more E3D stickers. And then the Lux Layers 3D printing and design. We're talking to them. They own a business out of Wisconsin. Yeah. Brick and mortar location in Wisconsin. We're talking to them, standing in line to get in on Saturday. Yeah, I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but R2 should just be some a handful of screws that'll change, some M5 heat sets, printed parts. Yeah. So went from cap heads to button heads on the XY joints. And then some M5 heat sets, I do believe. All right. And then I got a pen from LDO. I lost there was a little LDO badge thing on there. I didn't realize that it snapped on there or snapped off quite so easily. I had the pen in my pocket. And then my littlest daughter loves rocks, and I found this piece of, like, I think it's granite, and brought this home for her. I'm gonna make a box, keep it in it. She can have a little piece of the Rocky Mountains. All right. So, yeah. So after the show Saturday, back at the hotel Saturday night, there's a kind of like an after party, which was lots of fun hanging out. Started out hanging out with K2 Kevin, Zombie Hedgehog, Pez Liz, and Zach Freeman. Hung out with those guys for quite a while until food showed up. Cat bought us pizza. Went and had some pizza. Then headed back down. Hung out with Reth quite a bit. Talked about his the resonance nozzle, which is going to be available in both V6 and Revo style. And hung out with David, Rmrrf 3D printing some. Chatted with not Clown Hammer, Thunder Keys for a while. Reth was kind enough to introduce me to quite a few people that I had never got to meet before. So that was awesome. Yeah, just had an amazing time. Chatted with Steve for a little bit. Yeah, just overall just had a bunch of fun. That super fun. Eventually, being from Eastern time zone, you know, it is almost midnight, so that, like, it feels like 2 a.m. to me, and it was time for me to call it a night and get some sleep and get ready to head back Sunday morning. Go down, have breakfast, had a wonderful omelet, carnitas omelet. It was very good. Yeah, belt routing changes. So for those that have ever built a Voron, know that sometimes some of the belt routing can be a bit tricky, right? Now, there's some tricks using zip ties and stuff like that to get stuff through, or just the order that you put things together, whether you use like the stock front idlers, or if you go with like the beefy front idlers, stuff like that. But the new ones, the idea is the belt path is constrained, so you can just push the belt in and it automatically goes to where it's supposed to go. Right? Front idlers, rear idlers, XY joints, all of them. So really super simple, easy to belt. Shortens up the belt path some even. So the shorter the belt path, the less the better input shaping you're going to have with that to a point, right? Because belt length affects that. Less stretching, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, this should take care of all of that, Gerdman. LTX, what's up? Yeah, he is. Steve is a really nice guy, right? And he loves the community. He loves the printers, right? And is very passionate about like quality and doing things right. And yeah. Starting a V0 build tonight. Nice, nice. Box Zero. I've not heard of that, man. You guys gotta send me some information on what that is. So Sunday, get over there. Hung out with Clown Hammer for a while. Out doing the dragsters. I really want to do the dragsters. Super excited. There's going to be a kit for dragsters coming from Fabrico in about a month, I guess, or end of the month. So stoked about that. I learned some things. Not allowed to have brushless, which I didn't know. Kind of sad about, but Yeah, Clown Hammer won both days. He got what did you win for the second day? I know for the first day you got 4 spools of that the Quantum Dots Protopasta, which I'm kind of jealous about. Yeah, 510 brush motor. Takes the V0 frame and replaces the top hat with a built-in frame. The white printer I had with me was a box 0. Okay, nice. Yeah, I imagine, yeah, that would definitely make belting it much more difficult. $150 from Fabrico and $150 from West. Nice. It'll be hard to find anything to buy with that, I'm sure. Yeah. So back to what we've got from oh yeah, the teeth filament. I don't understand that one, but each their own, I suppose. I picked up a spool of West 3D's new Ambrosia bubblegum Dolos. It is UV reactive. Going to build a blaster for my daughter out of this. What blaster, I don't know yet, but it's going to become a blaster. And then Hector was hanging out some LDO Filaments Monolith Purple, which is a really nice purple. They're just little 550 gram spools. Then David hooked it up with some, I have never had Prusa. I've never used any of it, but we've got some Prusa PLA Pro Green, which is a really nice green. I like this green. We need to keep this from coming off. So we got the green. Then we got some Pet G Prusa Orange. And then almost an entire spool of PLA Mystic Brown, which is a beautiful brown. It's a little dusty. Need to handle that. I've got some ideas for what I'm going to print with this. It's going to be another blaster, but man, is this a nice brown. I love it. Very shimmery. Yeah, I've never gotten the opportunity to print with it. Looking forward to it. And then it took me the entire event to get a water bottle, but I've got a water bottle now. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over here. We're going to get a bottle of water. We're going to fill this up and put it in the refrigerator so that when I'm out here doing these streams, I can stop stealing the kids' juice boxes. Though at this point, I've probably got a bit of a reputation as being the streamer guy that drinks juice boxes. Yeah, mine doesn't have a straw in it either, but who cares? Just get the kids the water bottle and I'll take the juice boxes. Nice. I'm also gonna steal the last string cheese. And then last but not least, I was talking with Mandela Roseworks. They had some new build plates over there, and they were on all the Vorons and stuff. They're called Firethorn. They're flex plates. They kind of feel a bit like sandpaper. Says it functions as a cold plate. But yeah, so I picked up one of these. We're gonna test this out. This is size for the Trident. So we're gonna test it out and see how that does. So yeah, goal is to definitely build a dragster for events. The only problem is, like, I'd never be able to get it if I make it back to Rocky Mountain. Flying out there with the dragster probably not going to be possible. But 3D Printopia and Murph would definitely be able to bring it with me. Because those two events I'd drive to. But yeah, Rocky Mountain was a blast. Right after the event, Cap drove me back to the airport. Now, it's important to understand this. I woke up. I have a hard time sleeping in hotels, so I barely slept at all. And again, I was up late at the hangout Saturday night. Get back, get some sleep. Hardly able to sleep again. Back up at 5 a.m. Go to the event, get dropped off at the airport. Have to wait. My flight leaves at midnight. So, fly out at midnight, get to Atlanta. Right around 5 a.m. Have to wait for my flight that leaves at 10 or just before 10. Land back here in Columbus at like 11:30. You flew out at midnight as well. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Zany Maker Zach is walking around the entire show in a suit of armor. I love Zach. Get back. Got back home. Got drugged to my favorite place in the world, Walmart. Man, I hate Walmart. Yes, stolen string cheese. So, managed to get like 2 hours of sleep in the afternoon and then got woke back up because apparently me being up for like what 36 hours, I was only entitled to like 2 hours of sleep. But then went to bed finally about 9 o'clock last night. And boy, was I exhausted. I'm an old man who has to pee like 4 freaking times a night and never even woke up to go pee. Yeah, man, getting to hang out with friends, like-minded people. I'm sure I am not the only one who has found themselves in life with without a tribe at some point, right? And oh, excuse me, hanging out and finding the 3D printing community. Finally found my tribe. I've gotten to make friends and meet some amazing people. And the unfortunate thing about making friends online is, you know, they're not your next door neighbor, so you don't get to hang out every weekend with them, right? A lot of them, the only time you get to see them is maybe once a year, twice a year at an event like Rocky Mountain or something. And then, even then, right? So there's people that don't come to Murph, don't come out to 3D Printopia. So the only way I was ever going to get to meet and hang out with them is to get out to Rocky Mountain. I didn't. I know someone said Petty was walking around, but I never got to meet him. I don't know what he looks like, so I wouldn't have been able to pick him out of the crowd. Yeah, already tried. So my assumption has always been that this Rocky Mountain trip was a once in a lifetime opportunity, but working really hard to try to figure out a way to get out there next year. Yeah, it is difficult, right? And it's nice, like, it was hard picking you out because you decided to shave, sir. But some other awesome people that I got to finally meet. Bill's Brothers, OG Maker on Discord. Bill's brother on YouTube. I got to meet and hang out with him, talk with him for quite a bit. Just an amazing human being. Yeah, but he threw me off, man. I had just been video chatting with him the day before, and then he goes and shaves. I'm just like, huh? Yeah, but he was like across the room, right? And every time I'd go look for him at the Voron booth, he's gone. It took me a little bit to track Jose down too, because he's off running around the thing. Wasn't at the LDO booth. Jason wasn't either. I hope you guys got figured out what you guys were working on. That sucks to have to be dealing with stuff when you're at an event like that. You had to be the Easter Bunny. Yeah, fair enough. Clown Hammer was pretty easy to spot. But yeah, getting to do the podcast and stuff like that let me know what some people look like that, you know, I wouldn't have known otherwise. But yeah. Talked to a bunch of people, lining up some guests for the podcast. I won't go into too much detail because dates, nothing's final until the day of, you know, life happens and stuff like that. But I'm sure that through the course of, you know, the next couple months here, we will end up having those folks come on the podcast. And that'll be a blast. Some people that are just awesome makers, other ones with some awesome information and knowledge to share. Obviously, everybody has some information and knowledge. You can learn from anybody. DJ Midnight Wolf, I thought you were. I thought you were streaming on YouTube. Did you stop? I never managed to catch you during a live stream, but I've seen some videos. Yeah. So it was a ton of fun working on trying to figure out how to get back there next year. I told Joel, Polymaker Joel, I was like, hey, if you need somebody to work the booth, if you want to fly somebody out to work the booth, just let me know. I'll come out and just work the Polymaker booth. I'm fine with that. Just fly me out here. Get me out here. Because Polymaker does have creators that'll come and work the booth for them and stuff like that. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I tried some new potato chips. I'd seen them before, but I'd never tried them before. Lay's all dressed potato chips. They're pretty tasty. Now, I don't typically like Lay's potato chips, but they're pretty good. John, are you asking what my favorite thing at Rocky Mountain was? So the thing that I knew was going to be there and was super excited to see was Trident R2. As far as booth things, that was the thing that leading up to it, I was most excited to see there. As far as like outside of like things, but like what was I most excited about for Rocky Mountain? It was getting to hang out and with people that I don't get to hang out with often, and I don't get to talk to often, or that I've never met, right? The people is what makes an event like that. It is the people you get to meet, talk to, the friends, the camaraderie, right? That is the thing that makes any event like that, right? All right, so I wasn't going crazy. At least you do, you do YouTube. I was like, what? The thing that I was most disappointed about at Rocky Mountain was the fact that Jose gave away my monolith kit. No, but I do want to do monolith. We've got, and if it makes a difference, Hector agrees with me on this, Jose. So I've got Vitali's RMG in the Trident. I want to put monolith in the 2.4. When Hector says that's a video I want to see, you need to make it because I want to see it, you should probably get me a monolith kit. But I hope everybody had safe travels back. Whether you were driving, flying, taking a cruise ship, whatever the case may be, I hope everybody made it back. Knock on wood. Seems like I didn't pick up any like diseases. Big events like that are real good about spreading around colds and the such. Canrog can tell you he just went to a gaming event called The Gathering over in Europe and came back with pretty nasty sinus infection or cold or something. But yeah, so other plans that have come out of this. I spent a lot of time talking to Django about the issues going on with the Trident, and talking to Hector. Pretty sure that we are going to end up putting the Fabrico's new rigid structural panels onto the Trident. Going to change over to, he's got some ultra lightweight linear rails that are sick and so smooth. Oh my goodness, are those things nice. I think I mentioned them in the video that I did, but like nothing I tell you is going to do these rails justice until you feel them. They were, I guess, originally designed to, like, with consideration for the monolith. And then one of the alpha nozzles we're going to end up putting in here because it's rated the 500C, polycrystalline diamond, like Diamondback kind of. If you're more familiar with that, but it's from Fabrico. It is significantly cheaper than a Diamondback. But with Tube's rated to 500C, it's rated to 500C. It's going to give me the ability to print higher temp stuff with that crazy wear resistance, right? And Diamond's super smooth. Yeah, my lips are crazy chapped too. Man, I got nosebleeds nonstop. And I thought, I was like, is the weather like is the humidity crazy dry here or something? So driving there Saturday, I'm like checking like what's the humidity? It was like 40 some percent. So I don't know. And also, I was incredibly tired the entire trip, and I think that's just because of the elevation and you know it's famously difficult. Sports teams come to play in Denver, right? And the elevation makes them winded more quickly. So yeah, like just things I didn't expect. Yeah. So fighting chapped lips right now, licking them, not making it any better. I know that, but I'm still doing it anyway. Uh, uh, you're going to, you're new to the community last year. Yeah. Uh, you just walk up to people and you say hi and you know, shake their hand and say, hey, I'm so and so, and talk to people. People are incredibly uh, open and excited to talk to folks. Vendors are extremely excited to talk to people, tell you about their thing. Same thing with makers, man. You walk up and they've got a table and they've got something that's cool, that's exciting to you, looks interesting. You talk to them. They are so excited to get to talk to people, right? To get to tell you about their thing. They're excited to hear from you. Um, and just even people walking around, man. Just if you're like, hey, I know who that person is, just walk up, introduce yourself, say hi. Uh, People are incredibly happy to hear and talk to people. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, so uh, I suffer from a bit of social anxiety. It's weird. It is weird because I will start random conversations with strangers, but then I get into a large group of people and I have an issue. One on one, I'm fine, right? Like I started talking to this guy outside of Walmart yesterday, and he's just standing there. He's waiting on a bus to show up, but there's like a whole cart of gardening soil behind him. I was like, "Is that your gardening soil?" He's like, "No." That we ended up talking about gardening for like 15 minutes in front of Walmart. So I'll have random conversations like that. The old lady's just looking at me like I'm insane. Uh, but then you put me in a large group and I have difficulty. Um, I'm getting better at it. I was much better at Rocky Mountain than I was at 3D Printopia. I was way better at 3D Printopia than I've been at Murph, right? So it's a skill. It's a skill that you've got to work on and you got to build. May have drinking, may have drinking, a, may have had a few drinks. That may have happened. I made sure. I made sure not to drink too much. I didn't want to like wake up Sunday morning with a hangover or anything, but I had a few. John, were you at Rocky Mountain? Yeah, Reth, I love you, man. I saw Reth Sunday morning. I was like, how are you faring, man? So, Reth, when you guys head out to Japan Rmrrf Fest, make sure that you have a layover here in Columbus. That way I can hop in your luggage. Oh, crap. You were really dehydrated then. Yeah, and that's the thing, DJ Midnight Wolf. You don't really have to, you don't have to fake it and entertain people, right? People are just excited to have conversation, right? Yeah, stop by on your way to Portugal too. Man, I so want to go to Vice. But they had it all the way over in Vegas, and they had it up in uh was it in Portland, Oregon, and now they're having it over in Portugal, where everybody forgets that we exist over here in the Midwest, man. Reno, yeah, yep. Just forget about us out here in the Midwest. It's all right. New Jersey. Well, that one I can do. My mom, my brother, my son all live in Jersey, so Jersey I can do. Speaking of Jersey, I was very sad to hear that Varys moved and isn't in Jersey anymore. Varys, whichever. Oh yeah, that's right. Jose lives in Jersey. Get to hang out with Jose. And then you've got Printed Solid right there in Delaware. So you've got Nomad, David Randolph. Got to talk to David Randolph for a bit. He was at the show for Cookie Cad, because he's working for Cookie Cad or at Cookie Cad, or I don't know. He's associated with Cookie Cad now. Trying to think who else. Got to talk to Joey of Gerari Drawers. Talked to him quite a bit during the show. Silver Fox Industries had their Nerf Blaster booth. That seemed to be a huge hit. It was always busy over there. The 3D printed Lamborghini was pretty cool. Saturday morning, as we're walking in, guy pulls up right past us in a DeLorean. So that was pretty neat. Being a car guy, you gotta love DeLoreans, right? Yeah, I wasn't sure what his affiliation was exactly, so I didn't want to say, but I know that he was there, and is working with Coco Press, but trying to think what else was really cool. So Luke's Lab had a new printer there, kind of a not one of their stable bots, but a printer that is targeted to kind of be like a prosumer kind of thing. Delmar, how's it going, man? It was good. It was good talking to you on Sunday, hanging out, doing the dragsters, man. I love it. Um, Delmar's an awesome human being. You're recovering? Did you make it back home? I take it then. We were talking about the dragster kits earlier. Really looking forward to getting to make one of those. Kegel, what's up, man? I'm pretty sure you got recommended to me as a Facebook friend earlier. Back to the humidity. It's all right, man. I would love to make it and move to Florida. I really would. I just need Hector to give me a job. You know, with a background in plastics manufacturing, I feel like I could probably fit in. I will. I'll hop back on there and see if it's still recommending you and send you a Facebook request. 2 hours from the warehouse. Yeah, like, man, all I need is an excuse and to know that I won't have my family homeless on the street and I'm there. That or Texas. LTX can give me a job and I'll move to Texas. But I'm trying to think in my head. I was trying to get Luke's Lab to sell me the not the like so it's not a silicone sock for the tube. It's a titanium piece that screws over and helps keep your cooling fans from cooling down your hot end. Because with these fans, it'll make it so that the hot end cannot keep up. Those fans are move that much air. Yeah, the shield. But alas, they only had one there. I don't even know if it was in the box, but they would not sell it to me. Prusa was there with their basketball that I've got to find the right filament so I can make one of these damn basketballs for my daughter. But yeah, so, and then LDO had their booth right across from Prusa, showing off all their stuff. They had this really cool plate changer thing there at the LDO booth. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's like $60 or something like that, which in the grand scheme of things isn't crazy, but not inexpensive either. Honestly, $60 for a kilogram of it, still cheaper than a kilogram of proto pasta. Then, yep, BQ, Big Tree Tech was there. I walked through their booth briefly, but didn't get to talk to anybody there. Cocoa Press was there, obviously. A couple filament companies. What's his name? Got the baby belt. Had his new printer, the Crooked Crow there. That was a pretty sick printer. It was pretty cool. Yep, Rob, that's it. Then there was a company, Captain will know the name. They've got a commercial version of the positron, basically. It's going to be coming to Kickstarter. It's not cheap, but still cool. Gloop was there. They painted their Fanic robot. It's now all done up in the Gloop colors. Yeah, I guess Rapid's going to be back in Detroit next year. Hopefully, I can make it up next year. Muon, that's it. Yep, GF. There's a couple different bed adhesive companies there. All basically, my assumption anytime I see them is it's essentially Frank's Goo, Vision Miner, that just rebranded. That's always my assumption. Then there's a bunch of really interesting maker stuff over on the other hall. I didn't get to make it to any of the talks or anything, which I was kind of disappointed about. I wish I had. There was a couple that I wanted to hear, but I didn't even know where it was until the end of the second day. I could not figure out where it was. Yeah, Protopasta had that new filament, and they had that filament that was. Is it just PLA that shaded the color of teeth? Polymaker had a new game. It looked like 6 giant ant head tool heads, and it dropped like this little baton thing out of the hot end, and you had to grab the batons out of the air. Yeah, I wish they they did the same thing at 3D Printopia, right? Like 3D Printopia, you had to walk across the skyway, past the giant swimming pool, like all the way into like East Jabit that I didn't know existed until the second day there either. And or maybe I did know the first day, but it would have been late the first day. But I think it was the second day, right? And there was even makers and stuff over there, right? And like it's just some of it's kind of hidden. Murph last year was the same way with the battle bots. We're over in a completely separate building, which was nice because the battle bots had a huge area. Like they had, that was really cool. That's one thing that Murph has that 3D Printopia and Rocky Mountain don't. They had battle bots at Rocky Mountain, but they did not have the setup that Murph does for them. Yeah, Delmar, I am totally jealous because I absolutely love that filament. So wanted to use it on blasters, but at $40 for half a kilogram, I could not do it. All right, I I had a budget of $0. I bought that ambrosia filament. because it was West 3D had a fantastic sale at the thing. I think it was like $15 for a spool of filament over at West 3D's booth. And I had wanted to get that bubblegum pink for my daughter. Yeah. So Murph has issues. Hopefully, I don't know. We need to figure something out, right? Because Murph is like my local event, right? It's the OG Rmrrf Fest. And people don't want to go, and vendors don't want to go, right? Because your stuff is getting messed up because it's in a building that doesn't have climate control, right? So you take your 3D printer, put it out there, and come home with a rusted up 3D printer. If you're a vendor, you got signs. I think Polymaker had to replace all of their signage, as I understand it, because it got molded. Right? Like, it's one thing to pay to sponsor an event as a vendor, or to pay for a table or whatever it is at an event. It's another thing to do that and then have everything you take there get messed up. So I don't blame the vendors. And then the less people go and the less vendors that want to sponsor it because they don't want stuff messed up, the less the people that were doing it are inclined to do it again, right? And eventually your numbers start dropping off because there's without vendors and without people at tables, there's no reason for the people to show up to walk around it, right? And it's just a death spiral at that point. So they need to fix it, right? And if they don't want to, then pass the baton on to somebody that will. Right? Because Murph is fantastic. It's got a great atmosphere, right? I see it this way, right? You got 3D Printopia, which is like a borderline trade show. And then you've got Murph, that is like just community, right? A giant hangout, just a maker hangout kind of at this point. And then you've got Rocky Mountain that kind of sits squarely in the middle of those two extremes. And I'm not saying that I want Midwest Rmrrf Fest to become what Rocky Mountain or 3D Printopia is, but I don't want to see it die, and it will die under its just lack of climate control. Be careful with the TPU CF. They should move it. I'm not saying they should move it necessarily out of Indiana, right? But you got Indianapolis, which most of the people that are going to go to Murph are probably flying into Indianapolis anyway. Move it to an event center in Indianapolis, so people aren't landing and then driving, what is it, an hour and a half, 2 hours to the event from, your nearest international airport. Or KB3D. I wish Chris would. I know Chris has a lot of stuff on his plate, but they're up in Cleveland area, right? So you got airport in Cleveland. Ohio has Cincinnati and Columbus. All of them have huge event centers available. Captain said something about just like renting out one of the hangars at an airport, holding the event there. They're climate controlled. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? And if you did it in Cincinnati, you got a lot of other cool stuff down there too. You got like the Wright-Patterson Air Force Museum, which is freaking phenomenal and free. That's a whole day there. There's tons of stuff. There is tons of stuff to do out in the Midwest, right? Yeah, Dayton area. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to do out this way, right? And yeah, especially in June, right? So you've got up in Cleveland, right? You go over to Sandusky. You've got Cedar Point amusement park. You got the Great Lakes. There's a ton of stuff to do out here. There really is. And I know people are like, Ohio, there's nothing to do in Ohio, but they're wrong, right? You got yeah, you got really nice zoos. The Columbus Zoo's fantastic. Everybody knows who Jack Hanna is, right? So it was his zoo. I think he's retired from it now, but it was his. And then you got Hocking Hills, which has great hiking. Jack Hanna died. When? $2021. No. 2023. No, he's not dead. Still alive. He's just got really bad Alzheimer's. At least from everything I can find there. Yeah, from everything I see, he's still alive. Yeah, I don't see anything about his death. Anyway, yeah. Um, Damascus, how's it going? Anyway, yeah, so I'd like to see something happen with Murph, right? And I would be happy to help too, right? Uh, in any way I can. Um, so if anybody has anything or wants to do something, uh, I would be excited to lend a hand with it. Um, I am not in a position to kind of swing the cost of setting all that up myself. Unfortunately, wish I could, but I am not. Um, but I would gladly do whatever I could to help facilitate it. Ugh. My Capri Sun is gone. Anyway, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about Rocky Mountain? You have a concern? Well, let's have at it, Cap. What's your concern? Yeah, Rep Fest down in Florida would be fantastic. So are they actually officially doing this one in Texas? Because I keep hearing about it every year and then it doesn't happen. Well, if anybody needs somebody to work their booth and they want to fly me to Texas, let me know. Uh, they have sponsors and tables sold. Fantastic. Oh, are they charging ticket entry for the event? That was the biggest disappointment about 3D Printopia, right? The charging admission to get into the event. I think it kind of goes against the spirit of a Rep Fest. But I understand that it might be a necessity for some events, but um, do you see labor costs for anyone loading and unloading and power for the boost and rental at this year's 3D? I have not. Jose would probably be closest to, but I've heard that there is some issues with how they're handling that, with it being at the convention center in Philadelphia. Um, which is unfortunate. I haven't seen it. If you have a link to it, I'd like to, though. Yeah. I think so. 3D Printopia, aka Rmrrf, East Coast Rep Fest. With their change of name to 3D Printopia, is trying to, like I said, it's close to a trade show. I think they are trying to transition into being what like Rapid or those kind of events are. They're trying to transition away from the maker community and more into the commercial and industrial kind of thing. And I could be wrong. So I won't start giving my opinions on that. Because Lord knows I have more than once said things and then had to issue a retraction of my statements. So we just won't go into it. Yeah, if you come with anything other than your personal car, you have to pay to load/unload. Also, no leaving on Sunday. If they need to load you, you have to wait until Monday to leave, which means more cost. Fucking Christ. Yeah, I think it has to do with unions or something, right? You can put it in beer fridge. All right, let's go over here. Philadelphia Convention Center, setup Friday, company loadout Monday, event hours Friday 3 to 9, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4. Breakdown and individual loadout, business loadout. Total attendees. Near diamond, platinum. Electricity. Electricity will need to be connected from the convention center directly. 200 $25 for a 20 amp hookup plus a connection fee based on actual labor of hookup. Additional electric costs more. Any in-booth splicing must be done by PCC electrician. Tables and chairs. 2 chairs and will be included with all spaces. Spaces all get 4x included. Anything else needed can be rented. Table rental is $155. So you're allowed to use up to a 6-foot ladder without using union, folks. The fuck? Personal vehicles without trailers can be unloaded by individuals. A personal vehicle with a trailer is considered a commercial vehicle. All vehicles with trailers and commercial vehicles will require labor to load and unload. Example, a 14 by 20 cube truck will cost approximately $350 to $400. High end $750 for loading and unloading. Yeah, basically you can't do it yourself. You've got to pay a union laborer to do it. People wonder why folks hate the unions, right? So it's it is what it is, right? And I don't care where you come down on it. But you've got to admit that when you tell a business like Projects in Dad's Garage, let's say, you tell me that I've got a trailer and I'm more than capable of unloading my own fucking shit. I've got free child labor to do that with. What the fuck do I feed them for if not unloading my trailers, right? But you tell me with my people that I can't use my people that I already fucking pay to unload our trailer. You tell me that I've got to pay these guys at union labor rates, right? Which, okay, I pushed a broom while they were building a casino in Atlantic City, right? And got paid union labor wages, which was fantastic as a 16-year-old kid, right? When I got paid $36 an hour to stand there with a fucking broom, I loved it, right? But I could definitely see how one would not want to pay people when they've got their own people that they already pay to be there to do it. And so I understand that standard practice, right? But at the same time, once again, it goes. Now, granted, they don't call themselves a Rmrrf Fest, but it goes against the spirit of what how the Rmrrf movement started. Yeah, you. If you're a Rmrrf Fest, this doesn't work. If you want to be a trade show, that's a different story. Yeah, it's definitely not DIY. That's for certain. When you tell a DIY company that they've got to they've got to have somebody else do the thing that they can do, right? It is what it is, though, right? It's not my it's not my thing. I'm not making the decisions on it, and it is up to creators, vendors, companies to decide whether that works for them, and it's okay, right? And it's up to, like, there's attendance statistics on here for last year, right? So in 2018 they had 723 attendees. Following year 1,500. The year after 2020 and 2021, I guess they didn't have the event, probably COVID. Then 22 they had just under 1,600. Then 2,200, 2,700, and last year 3,000. All right, Rocky Mountain 3,800 official count, 3,800 attendees on Saturday alone. Right, and how much of that is because people that were only slightly interested in 3D printing, right? So take this for example. Sunday, Rocky Mountain got done at 4 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, there were still new people showing up and walking into that event to walk around, just to check things out, right? Now, granted, they're probably not the people that are dead serious about 3D printing, right? These are people that heard about it. You're like, oh, cool, I'd like to go see what that is about. Oh, it's free? Awesome. But you're not going to get the people that Sunday after church decide that they heard about this event and they're going to go check it out if you're charging admission for it. And then if you don't have the attendance numbers to back up and make it worth it for a company who now has to pay exponentially more because they've got to pay union laborers to do everything. They've got to pay electricians to come plug in their stuff. And you up the cost for people to display there, but people aren't wanting to come because, oh crap, I got to pay for parking. I got to pay $10 a person to even get into this thing. I'm not going there, bud. Yes, son, I'm not going. I don't care. I understand that you like that you thought the dragons you saw at the craft show last week were really cool, but we're definitely not going to this event. I am not paying that kind of money to go to this. That's exactly the conversation that's going to happen over and over and over again when you're charging to get into the thing. Yeah, driving in Philly is not fun either. Philadelphia, so context. I grew up in South Jersey. It was about 30 to 40 minutes to drive to Philadelphia. So it was like my nearest big city, right? I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. Um, Back in the day, you had the riverfront, you had all the nightclubs. I bet that's where Jose was at last night. Jose, were you at Shampoo nightclub last night? Do you remember Shampoo? Anyway, yeah, it's a very old city, obviously, right? Independence Hall, Declaration of Independence, right? Revolutionary War. Uh, the street layouts there, uh, a lot of those roads are one way, right? There's roads that are still cobblestone, right? Finding your way around that, it's not built on a grid. Um, it is a city that is very hard to drive around for somebody that is not from there. So you're gonna get a lot of people that are like, yeah, Boston probably isn't either. Boston's probably the exact same way. Yeah, Old Philly's great if you want to walk around. You want to see Independence Hall, Betsy Ross House, the Mint, Liberty Bell. Don't bother with the Liberty Bell. You're gonna stand in line all day to look at this thing, and it's just in like a glass building. Just fucking look up a video on YouTube. But the rest of it's pretty cool. Yeah, Old Philadelphia is really cool. I imagine Boston's the same way. I've always wanted to make it up to Boston. I always said, tourist, whatever, but I'd go around Halloween, go to Salem and stuff. But I've got friends that live in Boston. I've got some old friends that live about an hour from Boston too. Yeah, it's not what it's cracked up to be. That is true. Yeah, so I got to go to New York City for the first, again, grew up in South Jersey, never once went to New York City. You know, it was legit a 30-minute drive to the train station, and then you take the train in New York. Don't drive into New York. But finally got to go this summer. Went back for my son's graduation back in, yeah, it was summer. It was after the 21st of June. So it was the very beginning of summer. But went to New York for the first time ever after having lived there until I was 26 years old. Never went. New York, awesome place to visit. Would never want to live there though. But it's the same thing. Like, but New York is built on some sort of a grid system, right? It might be a triangular grid system, but it's a fucking grid system. So it's a lot easier to navigate where the hell you go. What is going on? And why didn't my watch charge last night? Message from my doc. I love DC because I love the museums. Yeah. New York City public transportation, the subways. I got to ride those. I like those. That's probably how I would get around if I was doing something like Rapid or something. I think doesn't Boston have a subway system too? Oh yeah, no, completely understand, right? But it would be cool to have an event in like DC area because there is other things to do, right? Uh, I really wish going out to Rocky Mountain that now I wouldn't do this on my own, right? But if I could have my family come out with me, uh, I'm sure there's some things that I can find. Like there's Pikes Peak there. I'd love to go see that. Get a rental car, beat the shit out of it going up Pikes Peak. Would not do that in a personal vehicle of my own, but I would beat the shit out of a rental car doing it. Um, like there's tons of things that I would love to see and do. 3D Printopia, being in Philadelphia, I'm not going to drive my own car there. All right. So I'm gonna hang out with family. I'm gonna hop on the fucking bus and take the bus up and go. There's statue parks. That would be cool. I would like to get a cabin, go up there. In my younger days before my body decided to fuck off, I would have loved to go mountain biking. I am sure there's some mountain bike trails in those mountains. Oh yeah, I love caves, man. I love them. Caves and caverns. I've been to, I think, just about every, if not every cavern, like touristy cavern thing, not like a hole in the mountain that you need to be a cave diver to go into, but cavern system between Tennessee and like New York, Pennsylvania border, kind of. Oh yeah, we were talking about the secret of life. Have it. Yeah, Mammoth Cave is sweet. It earns its name, Mammoth. But that's a huge cave system. It's actually tied into some other like caverns, some different names. Yeah, we gave away a bunch of printers. Yeah. Uh, gave away a Voron Phoenix earlier. Jose donated that one perfect personally. That was awesome. Thank you, Jose. Uh, is Mammoth Cave the one that's so there's underground river system that runs through one of them, and it's got like this giant it's like plexiglass or whatever walkway over top of this stream that this underground river that runs through it, and like you look down and it's hundreds of feet down to this freaking river. At least I think it is. Scale might be off because I was a young child. But that was pretty sick. There's also a cave that you can take a boat ride through, that you go through in boats. And then there's another one that's got it's like a what are like an organ thing system with stalactites and stalagmites. It's really cool. Yeah, Jose has been extremely generous on the stream. Yep, Brad got the Phoenix. Captain won 3 Vorons somehow. Very strange. So, do I have to now build a cascade in order to have all the Vorons? I know I still need to build a legacy, but do I now need to build a cascade too? Dan, how's it going? Yeah, I know. They just make it harder. And then when they release Phoenix, I'll have to build one of those to have the whole set. Damn it. These Pokemon are getting expensive. Get my water bottle out. Jose, are you going to build a cascade? I beg to differ with you, sir. That is a very large printer. A very cool printer, but a very large printer. Obviously, people are going to build it, right? I need one just to build the one-piece Death Racer. I need to show the logo. Sorry, my bad. I forgot to show this earlier. The backside of the Rocky Mountain thing has the LDO logo. Thank you, LDO, for sponsoring Rocky Mountain Rmrrf Fest. Is that how many's in the Phoenix? I know it's not. I know it's not a small number. Yeah. So, I had no idea what those parts were for in the LDO kits until Brad shows up with his little steppy. I was like, oh, cool, extra parts. I have no idea what this round pin is for, but okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, but so maybe you guys have changed it, but when I got it, there was no label on the baggie, right? It's just parts. If it's not, you guys definitely need to label it parts for Steppy test print with maybe like a QR code that goes to the like files for it or something. Okay, it does say it now. Good, because when I got one, it did not. Just like, I don't think it had. Yeah, files for your Steppy. We'll just go ahead and pin that. Yep. Oh, perfect. So it's got a QR code as well. So you guys are way ahead of me. Way ahead. Christ. Anyway. Excuse me. It is now almost 1 o'clock. I need to get something to eat. Nice. So, they were going to cut it there. Come back this week. Again, we're going to have a stream tentatively. Pretty short. We're going to have a stream with Reth, as well as another guest. We're going to be going over shake and tune stuff in Push Apiary. What to do. We're going to take it like this, right? We're going to go from what to do when you've first built your printer and you've run, your basic calibrations, right? The printer's built solid, but now you want to start dialing it in, right? You want to run shake and tune. You want to start looking into stuff. You want to start down that path of unicorn chasing. And also just basic stuff as well. Like, because honestly, for 95% of people that build a printer, putting it together, making sure everything's tight, typing in shape or calibrate is going to be enough for 95% of people. All right. It's going to get you most of the way there. But if you want to get that extra little bit, you want to push the boundaries of what's possible into the point of diminishing returns and no longer, making any sense to do it, but we're going to do it anyway, kind of thing. What to do. And then I'm going to be sending out some emails, some messages, trying to get some stuff together. Because there's some issues on the Trident that need to be fixed. Some of that we're going to take a look at on stream afterwards, like in future streams. Other stuff I need parts for. And then we're going to get back panels for the Stealth Changer from LTX. I've seen some pictures. They are sweet, but they will be here this week. So we're going to get back to work on the Stealth Changer build and getting that done. Friday, of course, we didn't have it last week because I was in the middle of traveling, but we'll be back with the Makers Making podcast again on Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Come check that out. And then, yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be doing lots of stuff. There's another video coming out soon, tomorrow, I'm pretty sure, with Luke from Luke's Lab talking about his new printer. You have a huge issue with the Trident. You don't have one yet. That is an issue. I need another one. I can't build an R2 with this. So I need another one to build an R2. I would love to build one on stream. Unless somebody decides to sponsor a kit, though, I probably won't get an opportunity to do the R2. Like I said, this one, this one's already got stuff that I can't do an R2 on this, right? So that's unfortunate. Maybe Jose, send me a Trident kit. That I'll do the R2 build, but mainly just so I can have the little steppy. Right? We'll do an entire stream just building a steppy. No. there's the, if you haven't already checked it out, make sure to check out the video, the interview I did with Steve Builds about the Trident R2, as well as the video I did with Hector from Fabrico about the cool things that they've got going on. Those structural panels are sweet, and they've got some other things in the video that are cool that are coming soon. Those calipers are, man, they are way more caliper than I have the ability to utilize, but I still want a pair. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking it out. Message for the building department before we go. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. Come hang out. We're always in voice channel. If you see us in there, hop in. Everybody's welcome. If you like the things we do here, consider becoming a channel member, Patreon member, whatever the case may be. I think I'm going to do early release of videos to members. So the Luke's Lab video will go live for members probably this evening, and then live for everybody else tomorrow evening. Give the members some value for the dollar. To those that are channel members, I thank you. Normally your names are scrolling. Why aren't your names scrolling up there? Oh, they are. There they are. Yep. Yeah. Make sure to hit the like button on your way out. Have a great day, and I will talk to you later.